Let's go Pats! I don't know about you, but I'm counting down every second, every tick of the clock, every sleepless night waiting for the kickoff of a season that could change everything. There may still be a few months to go, but my heart, red, white, and blue, is already pounding with excitement and pride. Because the New England Patriots are not just a team. We are a nation, a legion of fans who bleed grit, legacy, and the fire of redemption. And this year, my friends, destiny might just be writing a whole new glorious chapter in Foxborough. Our squad is more focused than ever, united by one mission: to silence the doubters, rise above the noise, and reclaim our place at the top of the NFL. And today, I need to bring you some important updates, major conversations, rumors heating up behind the scenes, and bold moves being quietly planned that could shake the entire league. So listen up, because big things are on the horizon. But before I dive into the breaking details, do me a favor, hit that like button. But only if you've been a Patriots fan for more than 19 years. I know some of you have been riding with this team since the 1970s, and let me tell you, that's legendary. Maximum respect to you. And if you're feeling the pride, drop this in the comments. Go Pats! Let's come back stronger. I want to see the Patriots nation loud and proud. Now, let's kick this off with a story that could rock the entire Patriots universe. Have you ever felt that electric chill racing down your spine when you realize a single move, just one unexpected trade, can tilt the entire AFC landscape and crack open a path for the Patriots to surge back into contention? Because that's exactly what unfolded this morning in a blockbuster transaction that sent shockwaves not just across Miami and Pittsburgh, but straight into Foxborough. At first glance, you'd almost shrug it off. The Patriots didn't trade anyone themselves. But the truth is far juicier and far more consequential than it appears on the surface. When you start peeling back the layers of this deal, you see how it subtly reshapes the rivalry with the Dolphins, opens fresh opportunities against the Steelers, and potentially clears the runway for Jerod Mayo and a revitalized Patriots offense to feast on a weakened divisional defense. Let's start by laying out exactly what went down. This morning, Tom Pelissero dropped the bomb. The Miami Dolphins sent not one but two of their most impactful stars, cornerback Jalen Ramsey and tight end Judon Smith, to the Pittsburgh Steelers. In return, the Dolphins get Minkah Fitzpatrick, yes, the same safety they drafted years ago, and a 2027 fifth-round pick. The Steelers also received a 2027 seventh-rounder. It sounds almost surreal. Just think about it. Miami willingly parted ways with Ramsey, who despite being 29 remains one of the NFL's most suffocating corners, and Judon Smith, who led the Dolphins in critical catches against the Patriots last season. It almost feels like a surrender. And if you don't think that has everything to do with New England's prospects this fall, you haven't been paying attention. Why did Miami pull the trigger on such a lopsided deal? Here's where the intrigue grows deeper. Both Ramsey and Judon Smith were on expiring contracts. Both wanted new deals. Instead of letting them walk for nothing in 2025, Miami cut bait. But in doing so, they stripped their defense of its primary shutdown weapon. Ramsey locked down half the Patriots' wideouts nearly single-handedly last year, and they sacrificed the tight end who had quietly become Tua Tagovailoa's safety blanket when Tyreek Hill was bracketed. Judon Smith wasn't just a rotational piece. Between the Dolphins' two matchups with New England last season, Week 5 and Week 12, Smith commanded a staggering 19 targets, catching 14 balls for over 50 yards and a touchdown. For a tight end in an offense already loaded with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, those numbers are staggering. It's proof that he was Miami's hidden engine against Bill Belichick's defense. Now, that engine is gone. And if you think that doesn't change how New England game plans for Miami in 2025, think again. Without Ramsey shadowing receivers and Smith dominating the seams, the Dolphins are banking on the idea that Minkah Fitzpatrick, 28 years old and, let's be honest, starting to decline, can somehow fill both voids. But Fitzpatrick's own stats tell a different story. Yes, he logged 96 tackles for pass breakups and an interception last season, but the trend line isn't kind. Go back to 2021. He posted 124 tackles and 7 pass breakups. Each year since, his production and his pro football focused grades have slipped, inch by inch. He's still dangerous, but no longer the elite playmaker he was. If you want proof, look no further than how he struggled when isolated in coverage late last season. For Jerod Mayo, this is a gift. Imagine your rookie quarterback stepping into Week 2, already a tough environment in Miami, where it's 95 degrees and the visitor sideline bakes under relentless sun, and realizing Jalen Ramsey isn't lurking on the boundary. Imagine Kendrick Bourne, Pop Douglas, and Kyle Williams lining up across from corners that, without Ramsey, are now painfully ordinary. Add in the fact that Fitzpatrick can't be everywhere at once, and you begin to see how the Patriots' aerial attack could light up a Dolphins defense that's taken a massive step back. But here's where it gets more complicated, and where Patriots fans should pay close attention. The other half of this trade doesn't just help New England. It may have created a new juggernaut in the AFC. The Pittsburgh Steelers, already loaded with defensive talent, now get both Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. You remember how Smith shredded the Patriots last year. Now picture him paired with Pat Freiermuth in 12 personnel, attacking underneath zones while Ramsey and Darius Slay, yes, the Steelers signed Slay, to blanket the perimeter. That's not just a good defense. That's a defense that can wreck game plans. And oh, by the way, Pittsburgh still has Aaron Rodgers under center. Whatever you think of Rodgers' twilight years, you can't deny he makes them instantly more dangerous. Circle week 3 on your calendar in blood red ink. The Patriots host the Steelers in Foxborough, and it will be the first true test of New England's playoff viability. On paper, the sportsbooks still list the Patriots as 1.5-point favorites because of the home field. But this Steelers roster is deeper and nastier than anything the Dolphins could muster. Ramsey will likely reprise his role as the Patriots' personal tormentor. Rodgers, even at age 41, is lethal if he has protection. And with Jonnu Smith in tow, Pittsburgh can attack the Patriots in precisely the areas where the defense bit last season. If New England wants to prove it belongs in the AFC playoff conversation, that game is the gauntlet. But don't overlook the bigger picture. This trade did more than just shuffle star players around. It potentially decided the shape of the entire AFC playoff bracket. Think about it. For division winners will claim their postseason berths. That leaves 3 wild cards. If you pencil in the Bengals and either the Chiefs or Broncos for 2 of those spots, suddenly the final slot could come down to who else? The Patriots or Steelers. If they finish tied at 9-8 or 10-7, the Week 3 tiebreaker could be the difference between the postseason and a long January vacation. That's how razor-thin the margins are in the NFL. And that's why this trade, which at first seemed like someone else's business, could end up defining New England's season. I'm going to break the rest of this down in part 2, but before I do, I want to hear from you. Every die-hard Patriots fan who's watched the Dolphins torment us for years and seen the Steelers looming as a perennial measuring stick. Is this trade ultimately good news for New England's chances to reclaim the AFC East? Or is it a warning shot that Pittsburgh is now the team standing in our way? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this season just got a whole lot more unpredictable. We've talked about what this trade means for the Dolphins and how it opens the door for the Patriots in the division. We've touched on how the Steelers just got significantly more dangerous. But now we need to zero in on the bigger implications for the Patriots' 2025 season, week by week, playoff picture, and psychological warfare. Let's rewind for a second. Remember how the Patriots' early season schedule is shaping up? Week 1, Raiders. Week 2, Dolphins. Week 3, Steelers. On paper, that might look like 2 winnable games bookending a tough divisional matchup, but in reality, what we're looking at is a make-or-break stretch that could dictate whether this Patriots team builds confidence or crumbles under pressure. Week 1 against the Raiders? That should be a win. The Patriots defense matches up well against the Vegas offense still searching for identity, and assuming Drake Maye or Jacoby Brissett is under center, that's a game where New England should dictate tempo and control the line of scrimmage. Week 2, however,